Rachel, what did you think of the meeting?
When Gravity Payments CEO Dan Price arrived for our scheduled photo shoot on crutches, he explained he'd twisted a knee playing soccer. But more than one of his employees had to smile. Price has a flair for the dramatic.
Hey, no producers in the shot.
16 months ago, Price shocked the business world when he made a dramatic announcement that would reshape the national discussion on income inequality.
Effective immediately, we're going to put a scaled policy into place, and we're going to have a minimum $70,000 pay rate for everyone that works here.
The pay hikes themselves would be phased in. A $50,000 a year minimum wage would take effect immediately, but would rise to $60,000 a year by the end of 2016, $70,000 in 2017. And that he'd help pay for that increase by slashing his own compensation more than 90%, from more than $1 million a year down to $70,000.
Curious if anyone has any questions.
Stories of his announcement went viral.
He wants to confront income inequality.
One boss just changed the lives of his employees.
Everyone is getting a raise at a Seattle-based company.
We heard from NBC that at that time it was the most viral story in the history of NBC News.
Yet despite the millions of clicks and thousands of news stories, few explored why. Why had Price taken such a unique stand on inequality? His answer involved an emerging business ethic and a changing faith.
I really think that my parents defied every label out there, and in particular my mom. In the 80s, she was sorting her trash, composting, recycling, vegetarian diet, listening to Rush Limbaugh, reading the Bible out loud for about an hour a day.
One of 6 kids, homeschooled in an evangelical Christian family in Idaho until he was in junior high, Price was a finalist in a national Bible memorization contest. He was a member of a local Christian rock band until he was 16. And that's when, with assistance from his dad, he helped a local coffee house owner with her credit card processing, the fees charged by banks and credit card companies each time her customers used a card.
I was able to get her costs lowered, and it was a good experience for her. All of a sudden, I had a reference.
Price parlayed that reference and a passion for helping small businesses into hundreds of clients and the creation of his company, Gravity Payments. By his early 20s, he was making headlines and getting rich. He was invited to the White House, and his idea of faith was changing.
I heard of something called Pascal's Wager when I was a kid, which basically says you should believe in your faith whether or not it's actually true. And that satisfied me as a child. But as an adult, I realized that faith could be something that could be maybe expanded. It could be a foundation for different types of thought and philosophy, different types of action.
All this was happening at a time when the cost of living here in Seattle was skyrocketing. The cost of housing, especially rent, was going up so fast that many medium and lower income families couldn't afford it.
If I can just be a small part of a revolution in business where it ceases to be just about making money, but it's about solving problems and service, that would be enough to keep myself going.
Following his $70,000 minimum wage announcement, accolades were showered down on Price like the rain in Seattle in February. Best boss in America? Many thought so. But he'd soon face personal criticism, even a lawsuit. Conservative talk show host Rush Limbaugh, who Price had been forced to listen to as much as 3 hours a day as a kid, predicted Price's downfall.
This is pure, unadulterated socialism, which has never worked. That's why I hope this company is a case study in MBA programs on how socialism does not work, because it's going to fail.
Turns out Harvard Business School did study Price for class discussion. It found the $70,000 a year minimum wage announcement generated not only a flood of job applicants, but many new clients. In fact, since the announcement, Gravity now reports its business is doing better than ever. Its employees are thriving. They've used the raises to pay off debt, save for retirement, and now feel secure enough financially to start families.
He's due on October 12th, and he's a male. A boy. Yes.
Typically, the company had 1 or 2 employee pregnancies each year. Now, 7 or 8.
Our daughter, Laylee Rose, she's 11 weeks old today.
Thank you.
Which may be one reason why Price's employees agreed to buy him a gift.
We had tried to think of a way that we could thank Dan for what he's done for us. And
Little payback.
little payback, yeah. Gravity Payments, this is Alyssa.
Alyssa O'Neill, a single mom whose pay had risen from $33,000 a year to $50,000, got the idea rolling.
We have one more gift for you.
All right.
It's outside though.
Okay.
O'Neill had helped convince other employees to all chip in and buy Price a new Tesla.
Oh my God.
When it happened, it was like it was meant to be.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm really surprised by his reaction.
Thank you.
He said, I don't even want to see the car, I want to see you guys, and turned around and he hugged everybody and made sure he hugged everybody first before getting in the car and touching it.
So you had sort of a crush on this car for a long time and
Yes.
never thought you'd have one?
You know, it was kind of one of those things where I thought I would have one day, but you ever have one of those goals where you say like 3 years or 2 years,
Yeah.
but it never becomes 1 year, it's always 3 years,
Right.
and 3 years goes by and it's still 3 years? It was kind of one of those deals.
Price says his faith is very different than what it used to be, and some would call him agnostic. Yet he still considers himself Christian because it's in his DNA. In other words, it informs his ethics about serving others or running a company.
Do you know that verse, seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you as well? So regardless of my faith or anybody else's faith, I think that is an interesting analogy for business, because they've proven, I think, through studies, that businesses that put purpose over profit end up making more profit.
In the early 1900s, a Baptist preacher and Temple University founder, Russell Conwell, gave a famous sermon called Acres of Diamonds.
He would have had acres of diamonds.
Many said that sermon popularized the blending of Christian theology with American capitalism. To get rich is our, quote, Christian and godly duty, said Conwell. Dan Price believes the same sermon was more about finding something deeper than money among both family and co-workers.
A business is really missing its potential if it sees its purpose as creating money. It should have some larger purpose, and then you as an individual are not some money-making, money-seeking robot.
So, I mean, if you're going to define the word, so what is wealthy?
To me, true wealth is being able to do what you think is right, having the freedom to do what you think is right.
And what Price now thinks is right is to live modestly, grow his company for his clients and employees, and see how many other companies follow suit.
The truth is, I'm still trying to figure all this out too.
Yeah.
So
And we're sitting inside a Tesla.
and we're
right?
sitting inside a
Yeah.
Tesla, and I'm doing my best to try to deconstruct, you know, what I think here as a 32-year-old guy who has a lot more to learn.
For Religion and Ethics News Weekly, I'm John Larson in Seattle, Washington.